We are in a political season in America in which one party has almost no hope of getting along with the other. They can't cross party lines. How much more complicated would it be if you had to cross national, international lines? We have with us today someone who's an expert in that. Christian Höferle is the CEO of the Culture Mastery. He is a cultural trainer, coach, and facilitator. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Now, what's the work you do?
I help people work better across cultures. Sometimes when we need to lead and manage, we develop certain skill sets that propel us in our careers in our native country.
Right.
But sometimes in a global economy, we are sent outside of our native country and our native culture, and leading, inspiring, managing, and giving feedback can be totally different than it is at home. So what got you where you are today may not be the same skill set that will get you to where you want to be abroad.
The thing that spelled success could spell disaster.
Very much so. Just look at giving feedback. I'm from Germany, so in our culture, feedback giving is really direct and blunt and in your face. Now I live in the southern United States. I learned quickly that giving a blunt, direct feedback does not help me. In fact, it hurts me. We lost people. We lost employees that walked out the door because they thought I was mistreating them or I was attacking them personally. Well, that was anything from what I wanted to do. I just wanted to point out what didn't work, and I wanted to get them to do what works.
Right.
Yeah, well, they didn't take it so well. So I learned quickly that I had to adjust my style.
Now, you have lived in the United States, I gather, for about a third of your life.
Yeah.
Thanks for how has that integration been for you?
It's been happily ever after now. However, it wasn't always like that. In the beginning, it was more like, I think I know this. I know what is normal. I was raised properly. And it turned out quickly that what I figured was normal isn't normal in another context. That was the proverbial fish out of water. The fish doesn't see the water until it's not there anymore, or until you're in a different pond. That's what I am. I'm a fish in a different pond, and I had to learn to swim accordingly.
I read in your literature that you felt that you were quite literally carrying a bit of a controversial passport.
Well, as a German, we don't have a really good track record of getting along with our neighbors or people that are different from us, right? Yet I'm bilingual, I hope I am, and I consider myself to be bicultural. So now companies hire me to teach their employees how to cross cultures. So even though I may come with that stereotype, I'm here to bust the stereotype because, quite frankly, every passport comes with a stereotype.
I'm sure my passport has associations in your native land.
Your passport is US, I would assume.
Yes.
So yes, there are certain stereotypes that come with being a US American, yes. And not all of them are positive. And if we can look beyond that, the do's and don'ts are fine. You can memorize that. You can read that in a book.
What kind of companies hire you? Some big ones, I understand.
Some of them, yeah. You may have heard of an automotive manufacturer called Volkswagen.
I have.
Or several other companies in the automotive field, chemical engineering. Doesn't matter which industry.
Volkswagen's gone through a big crisis not long ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they are done going through it. So
what would you tell them about communicating with, let's say, the American market about what has happened and what did happen with Volkswagen?
What happened is that they cheated their customers about the emissions that their vehicles produce, and they were not really upfront with admitting to their failure. So I have typically 3 steps that I would recommend. First of all, acknowledge that there is a gap, that there is a difference in communication and behavior. And then secondly, own up to whatever the problem is. It might be a mistake, a gaffe, or a consumer betrayal in this case, or it may just be a glitch in communication. And thirdly, don't go that path by yourself. If you're down in that hole and somebody's reaching down to give you a ladder, for God's sake, take the ladder and stop digging.
In other words, hire you.
Yes, please.
And what are the top 2 things you think are essential for people to properly integrate in a new culture?
I think there's one key thing to go beyond the do and don'ts and the behavioral etiquette stuff. Vulnerability, to me, is the key. If you can own the fact that you're different, and if you can own the fact that others are different, and show that you can make mistakes without feeling bad about yourself. That's a huge step. I don't know how many of your audience are familiar with Star Trek, but Mr. Spock, the Vulcan, the semi-Vulcan, said, "Greetings to you. I notice that we are different. I'm glad to see that we're different. May the sum of us be more than us individually."
Well put. Well put. And even though he wasn't entirely human, it is our common humanity with that vulnerability that you think is key to getting along.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for sharing your humanity with us.
Thanks for having me.